Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. It is that time again, that time of the morning where we come together to say some really nice things about ourselves. Thank you so much to you guys who shared this. You folks are really expanding the reach of this. I think that's super cool, and also expanding the reach of some of my other Facebook posts, which is just a wonderful side effect. So appreciate you. Y'all are amazing. Today we are working with my I Am deck. Now, as you're probably well aware, this deck is full of positive affirmations. We're going to say some beautiful things about ourselves today. And in doing so, we are going to help circumvent negative self-talk and replace it with positive and edifying things that are going on inside of our heads. It all starts right up here, guys. And so we are going to work on that today. Things which are mental become physical, and things which are physical become our future. So let's work on our own future today, in our present, in our now moments, where we have a ton of power, by pulling one right off the top of the deck. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to pull it off the top of the deck. We're going to work through the affirmation. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. You're going to respond, I am the affirmation on the card. And then I will affirm that for you, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. We're also going to write it down in the comments. In doing so, we're going to take it out of our brains, we're going to put it into our fingers, and we're going to turn it into reality. And then we're going to find mine, and we're going to edify each other. So let's have some fun today by saying that I am intentional. I am intentional. I move forward calmly and with purpose. So I am intentional. I move forward calmly and with purpose. Are you intentional? You are intentional. You move forward calmly and with purpose. So I'm going to write that down in the comments, and I encourage you to write it in the comments too. That way we understand that we are intentional. I'm being very intentional about writing this down in the comments. I'm intentional about the things that I say and the order that I say it in. I'm intentional about getting up early so that I can do this wake-up call. It is incredibly important to me, and it is incredibly important not just for my now, not just for my today, but also for all of my tomorrows. And the way that we are intentional, I mean, if we think about the word intentional comes from intend. And when we intend to do something, that means that we have a plan, we have an end goal, we have an outcome. So there is something that we are working toward. We're not there yet, but we're working toward it. And so therefore we intend to be there. We intend to get there. And so being intentional just means using this now moment that we have in service of a future moment that we expect. We are expecting it. A friend of mine once, we were talking about prayer, and we're talking about prayer as supplication versus prayer as expectation. He said prayer is expectation. Like when we pray, we expect. We're not praying because we're asking some cosmic deity for something. We're praying because we are making a statement of faith that we expect the truth of something to be or to exist. So we are expecting. And when we expect, we can be intentional. We can intend through our expectation. And that allows us to move in the most logical possible way, given what we have right now, given the tools that we have right now. It takes the future and it puts it into the present. That's what intention is. That's what intentionality is. It allows us to project the future into the present. And the present, which is where we are right now, the now moment that we're having right now, we have the power to do that. So I am intentional today. You are intentional too. So let's live an intentional life. Let's make intentional choices. Let's make choices right now that affect and that positively affect the outcomes that we are purposing to achieve. In doing so, we gain great power. And it's not even so much that we gain it, it's that we express it. It was always there. The power was always there. The power has never changed. We are simply tapping into it. To be intentional is to raise up a sail when the wind is blowing our direction, and to catch that and to allow it to move us forward. That's intentionality. I remember when I was a kid, the house was surrounded by woods, and every now and then we'd run across some wildlife in the woods. You know, I mean, kids are pretty noisy, right? I think we're all aware kids are pretty darn noisy, especially when walking through the woods in the fall with all the crinkly leaves. And I remember one time there were a couple of deer, and myself and my friends were just watching them. You know, we wanted to get closer to the deer, and so instead of trudging through the woods and making every noise known to man, you know, we started to sneak up on the deer, which involved a very intentional picking of our steps. And as we picked our steps, as we decided, you know, where are we going to step in order to make the least amount of noise, in order to make it so that these deer can't smell us, can't see us, so that we can get closer to them and observe them. And no, we weren't hunting before you ask. We were just kids, looking at the wildlife. But as we did that, we intentionally, is that word intentional, we intentionally picked our each and every step, which was slower, which was more methodical. It's more slow to go intentionally than it is to go without thought. I mean, so many people go through life thoughtlessly, and by thoughtlessly I mean just doing thing after thing after thing without thinking about it, and then being surprised that they end up in a random location. Well, if we just do things without thinking about them, we will end up in a random location. But as my friends and I, we were stalking these deer essentially. We had to slow down. We had to be quiet. We had to listen. We had to be very aware of our surroundings. We had to use what was in our immediate surroundings to our best benefit in order to accomplish the goal, which was to get as close to these deer as possible without spooking them, which we were able to get within about 20 yards of them. And then they noticed us and they pranced off into the woods, and it was a fun game. But it taught me a lot about intentionality, and it taught me a lot about the ability to move forward calmly and with purpose, just as this card says. And so as we go out into life today, as we make decisions, let's be intentional about them. Let's be calm and purposeful with the steps that we make in service of the dreams that live inside of our hearts. Guys, if you need to have a particular affirmation, if a particular affirmation is going to help you be intentional today, then I encourage you to go over to my YouTube channel where I have all of these things archived, and it is just much more easy to search and find what you're looking for. Until then, I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Call with Maui Paul. Aloha from paradise.